the straight cut first gear very nicely. Now, this was not a video I was expecting to be making at this point, but the other day I took the Triumph, the 1964 1250, out for a drive, about 30 kilometres away, and when we got there, the gear stick suddenly dropped down and I was unable to select second and fourth, which made the drive back a bit interesting and somewhat nerve-wracking, but we got it home eventually. And I believe that the problem is the bushes further up here, and also the little plastic bushes and things inside the top of the gear shift housing. So today I'm going to be whipping this whole cover off for the linkage extension and trying to replace the bushes. I apologise if it's a bit dark down here. I brought the torch, but we're in the bottom of the garage, so it's a bit difficult to see. But I will be changing the bushes outside, and you will hopefully be able to see a bit better. And hopefully I'll be able to see too, because it's very dark down here. So without further ado, let's crack on. That's the nuts off, so now the whole thing should just hopefully pop off. Like that. And there we are. What a mess. So I'm going to put a plastic bag over here to stop the dirt getting in. Actually, I'm going to put the nuts and washers back on it first. And then I'll put the plastic bag over to stop any dust and dirt getting inside the gearbox. And then I will leave the transmission tunnel cover in the boot. I took that off before starting the video. And then I'll take the linkage here back up to the house and pop those new bushes in. So you will see me then. So I am now out in the garden because this is filthy with the old gear linkage. As you can see, there's an awful lot of slop in it, especially from side to side. That one. And of course up here it's completely loose. So I got a new bush kit here in this little white box, which won't stay white for long with all the oil everywhere. And I'm going to try and put the bushes in based on some instructions off the net. So we will see how that goes. So having only just disassembled the top part here, I can already see that this is the offending article. The edge of the sort of rubber, it's not really rubber, it's sort of hard plastic, has come off, and that's allowed the springs all to pop out. It's a very strange design, having these quite large springs held in with just one piece of plastic. But that's how it was designed, so that's how it'll stay, I suppose, unless I can make a better one. So I'm actually going to wash all this off now because this grease is horrible, and I will degrease that all and then start reassembling the top bit and replacing the bushes in the bottom as well. So that is now an awful lot cleaner than it was. It's not perfect, but the best I could do. I'm now going to take these two bolts out and put in the little rubber bushes. I got an exploded diagram which should hopefully tell me how to do it, but no doubt I'll have some problem. So I'm going to do that, and then I will reassemble the top here with the new parts. Well, here's an update for you. I've removed the linkage, the main long rod from the linkage, and then I've freed up the gear stick and I've just been reassembling it. So what I did was, first you slide on the little rubber washer down there, then goes the ball thingy, and then the spring, and then you can put the circlip on. I had a bit of trouble with this. I put it in the vise, and then I used an old screwdriver and I banged the end of the old screwdriver with a hammer just to slide it down until it clicked into the groove. It doesn't fit in the groove very well, so I don't think the quality is great on this kit. I also think that because I had trouble getting the little sort of plastic bushers in, and I actually had to squeeze them in the vise and then squeeze the metal part in afterwards, which is why it's not quite in the centre, but that doesn't matter, hopefully. So now I'm going to get on with rebuilding the twisting sort of joint linkage there, and then I'll put the gear stick back in. Well, here's the next update. I've just spent the last half hour battling with these two nylon bushers, or washer thingies, which go in here, because they were too thick. On mine, somebody, rather than using the little rubber circular thing which goes inside there, they put a metal one in, and I think it's slightly thicker, but these two are too thick as well, so I'm sure you saw me sanding them down, and eventually I resorted to brute force and hammered this one in and those, and shaved a little bit of nylon off at the same time. So that was rather exhausting. Now I'm going to go on with reassembling the gear stick mechanism, which is down here, but already this is feeling much better. That has much less play in it, as I'm sure you can tell, and it's just sort of less wobbly as a whole. So that's about done now. I had, again, terrible trouble trying to get the gear stick to go back into the shaft because the bushers, little top hat ones as they're known, just would not go between the metal of the gear stick and the metal of the shaft. So eventually I just squeezed it in so hard that the little wing bits fell off. So these taller bits are still in there, along with the metal part which goes in the centre, so that should be fine. If it's so tight, it's never going to rattle like that. So that's that done, and then I just put the little metal cap and the nylon bush thingy which holds the larger spring in on top and squeezed the cap down. So that's about done. There are a rather lot of parts left over. Hopefully they're spares, but I couldn't work out where they go, so I'll look into that. And if I need to put them in as well, I will do so. but the next thing I think I'll do, after checking where these bits go, is put the gasket on the car and pop it back in the car. So we're now back in the garage with my newly rebuilt, plastic bag, my newly rebuilt gear linkage. As you can see, there's now minimal play in it. Can go from side to side and in and out without any trouble. Got a nice new ball in it, and of course now it's not flopping about like it was before. So hopefully this will improve the way the car feels in general. But now I'm going to try and put it back on. We'll see how easy that is. I've got the new gasket and some gasket sealant as well, so I will now put that on, and then we will see how it feels and if it works or not. Fingers crossed it works. So there we have it, that's one new gear stick linkage in position. I've tightened it up so that just the edge of the silicone comes out around the mating surfaces. So that should be fine, that'll harden after about 24 hours and seal in that gasket. On a side note, I thought it'd be interesting to point out that this is what happens if your bushers start to fail. It can cause such slop in the mechanism that when you go into fourth, the little nut here, that's supposed to be loose, it's got a nylock nut on the other side, actually rubs on here, and it can actually cause it to wear away as the other side for comparison. So that's what it should look like and what it would have looked like from the factory. On another note, this kit has also allowed me to fix the little pin which stops you going into reverse when you're not meant to, because to go into reverse you push it over here and then push down like that, and then you can go up into reverse. However, before I'd been able to go into reverse just by putting it into first almost, because they're quite close together unless you have the push down feature. But this little pin here was worn on this side, so when I was putting the bush kit in I just spun that pin round so it now hits the little thing, so that you have to push this down and then it'll let you into reverse. So that's an improvement already, even if the rest of it doesn't work. So I'm now going to give it a try. I will put my foot on the clutch and we shall see how it feels. So let's go for first. Oh yeah, okay, that seems to have engaged. And second. Oh yes, that's much better. And there's fourth. So before, fourth would come all the way over and hit there. So that's an improvement. That's much, much better actually. It still feels unusual. I don't know if it's meant to feel like this. I haven't driven many other Heralds. But it doesn't feel quite so much like stirring a bucket of rocks now as stirring a bucket of precision polybushed rocks. So all that's left for me to do now is actually start the engine and take it for a little spin, perhaps just around the car park, and then I will put the transmission cover back on if it all feels alright. So let's do that now. Alright, so I'll probably need a gear knob on that. I'm not going to go far here, obviously, not without the transmission tunnel. I expect this will be very loud when I try and start the engine, so watch out, headphone users. Here we go. Check us out in gear. And that's first. It's going in very nice and smoothly now. You can hear the straight cut first gear very nicely. I'll go for second. Oh yes. It's so much smoother than it used to be. Now I'll try out reverse. I can no longer go into it by accident. I will press down. Hopefully that's reversed. Yes, it is. Oh, that's so much better. Enough of that, terribly noisy, but it shows that the linkage bushes do work, and it does feel an awful lot better. So now I will whip the cover back on. Why they put pointy stalks on it? Oh. So I hope you've enjoyed this relatively quick video of me repairing and rebushing the gear linkage on the Triumph here. The gear linkage kit is good for what it does. It makes the gear change feel an awful lot better. It's been the best now that it's ever been when I've had the car for the past 4 years. So I definitely recommend that, although it doesn't quite fit as well as you'd hope really for something which is so commonly needed. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the use of the hammer and the vise and brute force. So that's something to bear in mind if you're stuck by the side of the road and you want to put it in. But I think probably my problem where I couldn't change into second and fourth and I was marooned miles away could have been solved by me putting in this kit a lot earlier. I just waited until it was really, really necessary before spending the money. So, you know, it is what it is. Other than that, I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will say ta-ta for now.